Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's comments comparing America and Israel to terrorist groups were so bad, even her own Democratic colleagues gave her a rare rebuke. But will there be other consequences? Yeah, no, don't count on it.
Should any further action be taken against Representative Omar for her comments?
No.
Are you concerned
No, I
about
don't.
the divide
No.
it may cause?
No, I don't. I think that she clarified her remarks, and that was we accepted that, and she has a point that she wanted to make, and she has a right to make that point. There was some unease about how it was interpreted. She made her clarification.
Wow. Yeah. Maybe Nancy's backing down because she's afraid of being called a racist. Here's a tweet from Rashida Tlaib. Freedom of speech doesn't exist for Muslim women in Congress. The benefit of doubt doesn't exist for Muslim women in Congress. House Democrat leadership should be ashamed of its relentless, exclusive tone, policing of Congresswomen of color. Yes, there you go. Classic deflection right there. Joining me now is someone who has real experience in combating actual terrorists on behalf of the United States, Ric Grenell, former acting director of national intelligence. Rick, thank you for joining me tonight. Now, we've seen this before. We've heard horrible comments from Congresswoman Omar and others. Are you surprised that they're still handling them with such kid gloves?
It's really unbelievable. I mean, look, they just called Nancy Pelosi in the Democratic leadership sexist and Islamophobic. I don't know how you get around that. I mean, this should be a top story in all of the newsrooms of Washington. This is unbelievable when somebody, imagine if a Republican called Mitch McConnell or Kevin McCarthy these names. This would be on everybody's front page, and we would be talking about it everywhere. But instead, this just gets dismissed. Nancy Pelosi says, well, she's apologized. I have a question for Nancy Pelosi. If she apologized, then why did House leadership issue the statement? If everything was fine, why did you publicly have to do something? The answer is because the public is outraged by these tactics. I mean, when are we going to ask Ilhan Omar and the squad about gay rights in Palestinian territories? Or what about climate change? How are they doing with climate change in the Palestinian territories? And this is ridiculous. Yeah, and
here's what's fascinating is that you've got this dynamic here. Maybe it's internal polls they're looking at. Is that American people really don't, we might not be marching in the streets, but we can be very quiet, and then we make ourselves known in the voting booth. I think clearly they must be seeing something because they also trotted out Barack Obama, and that's one of their tells, is that if you need the former president to sit down and, talk and to say, well, cancel culture might be going too far, is that there's some attempt to rein in what's going on, and yet they seem to be unable to do it. And I want you to hear this from PBS host Yamiche Alcindor on now we got the G7 going on. President Biden is there, working with some of the other of the people of the G7. And so she's talking here about the U.S. reputation. Listen to this.
Deep scars are really something that takes, I've been told by experts, years. And there are a lot of European leaders who are going to be looking at America for a long time wondering what exactly is going on with that democracy. And it might take several election cycles, I'm being told, to really do some of the work of restoring trust in America.
Restoring trust in America. It seems sometimes that the socialist world and the unfair world does like it better when we're in trouble. And so they weren't happy with us with President Trump because there was strength. You issued strength and, expectations. Do you believe that there is an effort to get our reputation back? And doesn't that mean becoming weaker?
I love her "I've been told" and the experts said.
Right.
I mean, these are the globalists in the newsroom. That's next to her is what is who she's hearing from. The reality is this. We have a lot of support in Europe and specifically in Germany for a strong America. But let's just take this to a grassroots level. There are many in Germany and many in Europe who don't want a strong America because they don't want to be told what to do. I recently had somebody tweet at me from Germany, from the think tank world in Berlin, saying, okay, now that Grenell is gone, can we go back to those good old days where a career diplomat came in and said the exact same thing but in a nicer way so that we can just ignore them?
Right.
And this is exactly what we're dealing with, is that many people don't like to be told what to do. The Germans certainly don't want to be told to shut down the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. The Germans don't want to be told to pay their fair share, even though both of those positions are the United States policy. They've been the United States policy for multiple administrations. We in the Trump administration actually just made a lot more progress than others. We can do it in a nice way, Tammy.
Sure.
You know me. I'm a nice person.
You're a nice guy. You're a nice guy. You have expectations.
And I would
though.
never be rude over there. But I also have to remember that I work for the American people.
Right.
And I'm pushing American taxpayers' agenda.
There we go. And thank you, Rick. I mean, so much still unfolding. It's great to have your expertise and your insight. Appreciate you coming on. Now, coming up, what happened at the Wuhan lab?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.